Hello, everybody. Little technical difficulty there. It's what day is it? It's
It's Tuesday.
Aloha Tuesday.
Yay.
Arthur and Mel, and we have Aiden in the background pulling the strings. Um,
We almost matched today.
I'm sorry.
Our colors almost matched today.
There you go. How have you been doing, Mr. Arthur?
Okay. Kind of crazed. I started doing a solo show, and then everything that kept on happening over the weekend, and then yesterday, and then I went to download some new software, and it just fried my computer a little bit. So that solo show, hopefully, will get out later tonight. So it happens.
Just
Don't upload or download or upgrade your until you've already done stuff. Don't do it before.
give me 1 second here. I'm just looking for some things. Anyway, I'm on some kind of message chain, but
Oh, hold on.
I first of all want to start and say with the SCOTUS thing that I have been predicting for a very long time, and so has Linda Grindle, and I think you have too, Arthur, that there would be certain guidelines that that Supreme Court's going to have to follow, and legislation passed to make sure they do. Also, term limits for SCOTUS, and adding more justices. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw in this message chain that Biden was saying that today.
Yeah, AP reported it.
I'm sorry, say again?
AP reported it.
Okay, so another prediction. Also, they're saying at the Republican convention that Biden should step down. And my guides show me that they were behind getting that whole rumor started and planted the seed to some Democrats along the way.
Yep.
And some people disagreed with me, but I guess my guides are showing that I was right, because they're calling for Biden to step down. Now, that just tells me, like I think Jeffrey Stein brought it up. Good call, Jeff. That that shows that Trump and his cronies are afraid.
They're terrified.
Right. And my thinking is, if Biden was that incompetent and had dementia, DEMEN, how they spell it, SIA?
The wrong way. So
Right. And if he had dementia, then why would they even be telling him to step down? They would just not say anything, because it would be a sure thing for Trump. So my guides show me what they're trying to do by going public with Biden should step down, Biden should step down. What they're trying to do, in my psychic opinion, is to try to make Biden look weak. But it won't work.
Nope. Lester Holt kind of tried to make him look weak the other night in that interview too.
Well, and then I understand from the comments there's that there are some I lost my train of thought. I'm doing 5 things at once here. That there's something circulating around 15 or 20 Democrats to get Biden to step down. The Democrats need to get their together.
They are going to get it together. I'm telling you, that's why they're trying to rally to get him pass it now.
Right, but they need to really stop that and get it together and say, we support our candidate. So I can tell you right now, I see Biden staying in the race. He's not going to go anywhere.
No.
Okay.
And I predicted a couple of weeks ago J.D. Vance would be VP, if you recall.
Yes. And so did Kevin Chandler, by the way.
Yeah. And so I got that right. Biden's still a winner. So that's right, too.
The other thing is this ruling by Eileen Luce Cannon. I did a morning moments with Mel. That's hard to say this morning. And in the long run, actually, her ruling is going to go against Trump, because, we had predicted that Jack Smith would appeal it. Of course, we knew that it didn't necessarily take a psychic to predict that.
Right.
But they're going to overturn her decision and take her off the case. I had said, my guides had shown me that some way or another, Clarence Thomas, that Trump's people got to him and talked to him about, dismissing this case. And then I'm sure that he sent some sort of communication to Eileen Cannon. And I couldn't, then all of a sudden my psychic light bulb went on. And I'm like, now I know why. Because there were two senators, I can't think of their names right now, they were Democrats, who were calling upon the Department of Justice to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate Clarence Thomas and to investigate Alito's shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
So my feeling is Clarence Thomas thought, how do I get out of this one? So that's why he said that, I don't know if he said it's illegal or unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional.
Because they're supposed to be appointed by Congress or that they're supposed to work for the DOJ. However, if you think about it, that special prosecutor that was appointed by the DOJ under Trump to investigate Biden didn't work for the DOJ, never went through Congress. So the hypocrisy gets me crazy. But the reason that Clarence Thomas came out with that is because he was trying to save his own butt.
Right.
And he knew he was sending a message to Cannon, and she referred to him 2 or 3 times in her
93-page thing.
Correct. Okay. But where I was going with that is Clarence Thomas, in his mind, sent a message to her. That was the ammunition she needed if she could dismiss the case. Furthermore, he was thinking that it would set a legal precedent. In other words, that a judge now has dismissed the case because of the way the special prosecutor was hired, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought then if it sets a legal precedent, that if anything happened to him, he could get the case dismissed based on that legal precedent, on the ruling that Cannon made. So it was twofold for him. That's what my guides are showing me. I guess the question is, we know that the 11th Circuit Court is going to say, okay, we're overturning your ruling at Cannon. But then the question, if it goes to the Supreme Court, now Linda Grindle says if it goes to the Supreme Court, it'll be a nothing burger. And I pray that Linda's right, and she always is, by the way. But I'm just thinking, if it goes to the Supreme Court, we know Thomas won't recuse himself, but he's already made up his mind about the case, which he shouldn't have done. And also, if it goes to the Supreme Court, will they uphold the ruling of the 11th Circuit Court? Is my question. Now, Linda says it's going to be a nothing burger. I do think Kavanaugh and maybe another justice would go along with Thomas, but the rest of them, I feel, will say absolutely not.
First of all, there have already been cases in front of the Supreme Court where they have ruled that this is legal, including when they tried to do it with the Mueller report. They said it was legal, number one. Number two, I said Cannon would be gone by the end of July, no later than August 20th.
Who will?
Cannon. I've been predicting Judge Cannon will be gone by the end of July and no later than August 20th. And it's happening.
But my question is why?
The thing is, he's going to appeal. The 11th Circuit is going to say this is a crazy ruling, and they're going to keep him, get a new judge on this, and there'll be new charges against it, and it's going to move forward.
We know that, but my question is,
it's not going to go to the Supreme Court.
Well, the Trump
team, they don't see it.
The Trump team, in my opinion, my psychic opinion, will appeal the decision of the 11th Circuit Court and take it to the Supreme Court. My question is, if it gets to the Supreme Court, what is SCOTUS going to do? Now, another question that just came to mind is, if Cannon is gone, why is she gone? Is it gone because the case is dismissed, or is it gone because she's removed from it completely and there's a brand new judge appointed?
Both. She's already dismissed herself. She's dismissed the case. She said the case is not hers. It's gone. And then they can dismiss her from even getting near the case again. Number one. Also, when the 11th, what I keep on feeling is the 11th Circuit, when they say they're not going to dismiss this case. They get a new judge. I don't feel they're going to put a stay on this for the Supreme Court to look at it. They're going to go right ahead with it.
But my feeling is, my point is, my question is, we know they're going to overturn Loose Cannon's decision.
Mm-hmm.
The Trump team will appeal the decision of the 11th Circuit Court and ask it to go to the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court takes the case, how will they rule? Will they uphold Cannon's decision, or will they just kick it back, down to the lower court?
Kick it down.
That's good news.
No, because the thing is, there's so much precedence of throughout his, even with they tried the same thing with Nixon with the special counsel, and they said it was lawful. It was not unconstitutional.
Well, and I agree with you, but here's the deal.
But I'm telling you right now, though,
a lot of
not something they're not going to all of a sudden change everything on this one.
Hold on, no.
Right now,
a lot of cases that the Supreme Court has held as legal precedents, like Roe v. Wade, all kinds of other stuff.
I understand, but this. They're not going to do it. I'm telling you, that's what my guys say. They're not going to do it.
Here's my question. Or my comment. A lot of other Supreme Courts have gone on legal precedent, and with special prosecutors, they've done that, right? But this court is notorious for not going on legal precedent. They make up their own rules. So that's another question that people are going to ask. They can overturn that legal precedence in a heartbeat. The question is, will they? Okay. And the only reason I'm bringing these things up is because they're questions that people are asking.
I know. And also, but I'm also saying, I've been predicting that Thomas is going to step down at the end of October and November due to health reasons.
Supposedly. Well, that's what he's going to use as a reason, is health reasons.
Supposedly.
Right. But
then when we start the new administration, it's going to be a show with them being called in and before Congress and asked lots of questions, the Supreme Court members, and they will resign.
I see 2 justices being impeached as well. Mm-hmm. And I see that Clarence Thomas and Alito are going to be investigated, and I see them indicted. And I have been predicting, you had too many of us in the community, that there's going to be at least more justices on the court than 9. I see a total of 13. So everything this court has done, my guides are telling me, will be undone by a future court in the not so distant future.
Right.
Okay.
Well, because the reason why we have 9 Supreme Court justices, because there were 9 courts at the time when they voted for it. Now we have 13 courts. So 13 Supreme Court justices. That's what I've been reading for, 2 years.
Yes, you have. You said that all along. Mm-hmm. Cecilia Coleman just gave us $5. Thank you. All money from tonight's show will be donated to a program in Africa. And it's through my friend Justice in Africa. And he started a program to teach kids to grow their own food, cultural awareness, environmental awareness. And this program gives kids hot lunches in the schools there, and this one particular school there. It's a neat program. So all of tonight's money will be donated to that program.
Nice.
Jackie Frazier, $5. Thank you, Jackie. Here again, the school children in that school in Africa and Kenya, thank you. Well, the Democrats that want Biden to step down feel stupid after Biden wins. Oh, they're going to feel stupid really soon.
They're going to feel it even sooner before.
Okay. Thank you, Jackie.
Yes.
Okay, Aiden, you got anything else up there for us, buddy? Thank you. Spirit Animal. Ooh, I like that name. Okay. Will J.D. Vance run for president in the future? Is that his goal? Does he really believe in Trumpism, or was he going along to get along prior to being the VP pick? I'll let you answer that, then I'll go with my answer, Arthur.
First of all, Spirit Animal, she's a client. She's a wonderful person. She's a sweetheart.
Okay, Spirit Animal. So there you go.
Number one. Number two, as far as JD Vance is concerned, he's just saying what he has to say to get in. He doesn't care. He turned to Catholicism, I think, in 2019, but now he's all the whacked out Christian stuff. I do not, and I pulled cards on this the other day. I read this in scrying. He does not believe what he's saying. He's just saying it to get votes for power. Period. And I don't see him running. I don't see he's going to be around long enough to even run for president in the future.
My guides tell me he's going to go the way of Mike Pence. And, you know, he's going to do some things to make Trump angry, and Trump will turn on him, and no pun intended, in the New York second.
Mm-hmm.
And even if Trump wins, which God forbid, I don't think he will, but, you know, it's not a shoo-in that Biden's going to win. People have got to speak up, and they have got to get out and vote.
Yes.
That will save our democracy, because it's in danger right now, you all. So, you know, just because we're reassuring you, you can't take.
You still have to do it, make it happen.
That's correct. You've got to get out and vote.
And if by chance you don't like Biden, I don't care. Hold your nose and vote for him, because we're talking about the Supreme Court.
Not voting for Biden is a vote for Trump.
Yeah.
And voting for Kennedy is a vote for Trump. Thank you, Courtney Elf. Anyway, so back to the former question is, I just couldn't say that name, Aiden, that just donated that money. Could you go back to it, please? Eli Robichaud, $9.99. Thank you. Anyway, back to Spirit Animal's question. JD Vance, if he is a Christian, then I am a rocket scientist brain surgeon.
Well, he's anti-abortion, anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-whatever.
He's
not anti-Mel.
He will say anything. You know, it's his way to want to stay in power, mm-hmm. and all of that. After this election, he's going to go the way of Mike Pence, I'm telling you. So
what, they measured his neck already?
There you go. Oops, ouch. Be careful. Okay, Aiden, thanks.
Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Anna. Boy, these kids in Africa. Hey, Becky, how are you? Yeah, Becky was in Africa with us, and she knew it. Thank you, Cecilia. And by the way, Justice has invited a small group of us there to come and stay in his parents' home and to actually see the program in action. So I want to say hi to Amanda Polk as well. Amanda's a wonderful psychic. And I've got a psychic hint that she's going to be starting a YouTube channel soon. Boy, sounds reminiscent, doesn't it?
I heard somebody tell me that, and I said, "Are you on crack?" And they said, "I might be on crack, but you're doing a YouTube channel, my son."
I think Amanda's interested in the African program. And so a small group of us were invited to go stay in his family's home and to see the program, and actually to even maybe teach a couple of days in the school, which I think would be incredible. So,
yeah.
Okay, Jessica Mason says, MAGA Trump supporters are making racist remarks about JD Vance having an Indian wife. Will Vance's VP lose Trump, say 5% of his votes? Go ahead, Arthur.
Not necessarily.
Well, I think.
She's Yale educated and everything. I mean, she's just not a housewife.
I said, well, according to him, right? I said that Trump's pick would really cause a lot of people to vote for Biden, and here we are. Mm. It just goes to show the hypocrisy of the MAGAs, because they are racist, they are bigots, many of them, and so you know, I don't care who JD Vance marries, to be honest with you, male, female, I don't care. It's his right. But for publicly, for them to be such racists And then for him to be even a member of that whole MAGA movement shows me what a hypocrite he is.
Yeah. He's just a not nice person.
Hello, Arthur and Mel. Will 45 and Vance, DRC, begin arguing with each other soon? Well, the honeymoon ain't over. I see the number 3. I think within the next 3 months are going to be going at it huge.
3 weeks.
Oh, you think it's 3 weeks?
Behind closed doors.
Okay. So there you go.
Yeah.
Hi, Kathy. Kathy's wonderful. I had the pleasure of reading for Kathy before I went to Africa.
Nice.
Hello, Auntie Mel. And she's also a moderator and an excellent one, I might add. Hello, Auntie Mel and wonderful Arthur. My question is about Elon Musk plans to more SpaceX and X, formerly known as Twitter, to Texas. What does your guide say? If X lasts that long.
Plans to move SpaceX, I think is what she means.
Oh, I see. I feel he will, yes. But that's going to blow up, and it's no pun intended, within the next couple years. And, unfortunately, a lot of these space vacations, I think they're charging like $250,000 for that. I'm just concerned about how safe some of those flights are. And I'm telling you, and I hope and I pray that I'm wrong, but with something like Elon Musk program and some of these space vacations, there's going to be a huge catastrophe coming, just like that submersible that imploded.
Right.
Something like that coming with one of these programs. And even if people sign waivers to go into space, that whoever owns that program is going to get sued out the yin yang. So what do you think, Arthur?
I also feel Elon Musk is going to be in trouble with the government.
I'm sorry, say again.
I still feel Elon Musk down the line is going to get in trouble with the government when he turned off the satellites.
CC, thank you for that. SCR Dakar Brown, $50. Thank you so much.
She's genius. She's wonderful. She's a world traveler.
Good.
Sorry,
I'm just trying to get the people who are donating. But now, what were you saying about? Oh, because of turning off the satellite?
Yeah, for the Russians.
Well, here's what I see. I see what's going to happen. There's going to be legislation saying that, okay, can people put private satellites into orbit? But if so, they're going to have to let the government control them because it's going to keep people like Musk from shutting them off.
Right. He has his own international, way of doing things. No, your stuff is here in the States. You can't go off and do what you want.
Well, if he's in the States, he'll have to follow the laws of the States.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Aiden, you got any more? There you go. Mona Rogers. Hi, Mona. Are the Epstein files going to be made public like Project 2025? At some point, yes, they will. And they're going to be explosive.
And I've been predicting that around the end of August into September, 2 women are coming to come forward with the receipts. 2 women we don't even know about yet. And it's going to get really ugly for Mr. Trump.
Well, my guides keep telling me the women will bring him down, and that's what's going on. All right. Mary. Hello, guys. Do you see any positive Social Security changes for recipients after Biden gets elected?
Yes.
Yes. And right before the election, I see he's going to give somebody some sort of rebate or some sort of bonus for something. Well, Newsom did that in California, so Biden can do it too. But I do see positive changes for Social Security, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. As opposed to them trying to get rid of it, make it private.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If the government would keep stealing from it, we'd have a lot of money in there, wouldn't we?
Yes.
Okay, Annie Moore. Hello to you both. So nice to see you. Well, the feeling is mutual, Annie. Thank you. Thanks for doing this. You're welcome. Thank you for saying that.
Look, someone will come out tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. Question. Will there be an end to all of the crazy energy and happenings? It is stressful. I have stopped watching news to try and calm down. Join the club. I have not watched the news since I left before Africa. So,
can I make a shameful plug?
well,
Do yourself a favor. Go to my YouTube channel. I have a whole list of guided meditations. One of them is called Letting Go of Stress.
That wasn't a shameful plug. That was just a good plug.
Yeah. But it's letting go of stress and anxiety.
You know, I think, Annie, we have to stay informed. But what I do before each show, and I didn't have time tonight to do it, I was just on this message chain, and that's where I got some of this stuff. But it's, I go and I say, I Google breaking news, and then I kind of look real quick. I just stopped watching it. I got, my blood pressure went up. It just put me in a bad mood. I'm thinking, no, I'm just so sick of hearing about all the stuff with Trump, and nobody ever talks about Biden's accomplishments. Correct. And I think the Dems need to start doing that. So I don't think, as my friend Beverly said, she's a wonderful medium. I'm going to have her on my show. She's just phenomenal. She's been a dear friend of mine for many, many years. She's saying, buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. And she's right. So, Annie, as much as I would like to say that there's going to be an end to the crazy energy and happenings in the near future, I don't think so. I think it's going to take about a year or two for it all to die down.
It's going to take a while, but the thing is, the cockroaches go back under the refrigerator.
And in the woodwork, if you will.
Yeah. Get the exterminator.
We can't say the name of the company. Hi, Sally. Thank you so much. Boy, I say a lot of hot lunches for these children in Africa.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Courtney. Yay, Biden, Harris. Everybody vote. Yeah. KC, when will the Dems stop leaking to the media that they want Biden to get out? Well, I think that there's some people who are posing as Democrats. They're, what do you call them? Dinos? Democrats in name only? Or dinos, whatever.
Russian bots.
Well, and AI. But I think there's also people that are pretending to be Democrats and they're not, that are fueling this fire as well.
And I do not believe this. I'm sorry. I have to, about reports Nancy Pelosi wants Biden gone. I do not see that whatsoever.
I do not see that. I think that's just a bunch of hype and
misdirection.
What I do see is Nancy Pelosi coming forward saying she's never said that, and then she supports Biden, and I see a lot more people coming out supporting Biden, like Barack Obama and a lot of them.
Yes.
D'Angelo says, "Will Bob Casey win in Pennsylvania or McCormick?" I see a Democrat winning.
Yes, he will.
Okay, good. Courtney Elf 999. Tokes Kazim 499. VP. And you got to go back to that. There was a question there. VP Harris. Well, the hillbilly. Okay, yes, you're right, Tokes. That'll happen
when they debate.
Correct. When they debate, she's gonna be tough. And Vance, although she's gonna chew him up and spit him out 6 ways till Sunday. Okay, Barbara Hall. Will the Democrats still have the House and Senate?
I get a yes on that.
So do I. Look, when the
Democrats still have to fight for it, but yes.
Look, when the Democrats had control of the House, how smooth things went. The minute the Republicans took over, and I'm not anti-Republican, not all Republicans are bad. I'm anti-MAGA.
Yeah.
And the minute that the Republicans took over, the MAGAs thought they had control. We all know Trump is running the House. And look at the chaos. Look at the anarchy that ensued after the Republicans took over the House. And people are tired of it.
And look at the people they have.
I'm sorry?
And look at some of the people they even have in the House.
Oh my God, it's crazy. So I see at some point people like the Marjorie Taylor Greens and Lauren Boeberts, those kind of people gone.
Especially after the indictments.
High spirits beyond the stars. Will the thousands of people in Houston ever get their electric back? Abbott decided to go to Asia while the hurricane was hitting Texas. Well, how about Cancun Cruise who went to Cancun when there was a hurricane? You know, I had predicted, my guides had shown me a long time ago that Abbott was just ignoring this whole grid in Texas infrastructure that seriously needed work. And I understand after a hurricane, it takes a while to get the power turned back on, but it shouldn't take this long in a city the size of Houston.
Right.
And how much you want to bet the people who are higher up on the socioeconomic strata will get power before the poor folks do?
Or they already have generators in their houses.
I'll bet you any amount of money.
Yeah.
So this is not going to look good for Abbott, because now he's going to say he was in Asia doing work for, to benefit Texas and blah, blah, blah. It's not going
to fly. And I've always said that he's going to end up behind bars in a couple years.
He will. It's not going to bode well for him. Mm-hmm. My feeling is that whoever runs against him on the Democratic side is going to bring this up. And I see Texas going purple. Sharon John, I think. Will there be a day when Clarence Thomas and Jenny Thomas are in prison? Well, I don't wish anybody harm, but when I try to see a long-term future for Clarence Thomas, I can't see anything. So I don't think he's long for the earth plane. I do see Jenny Thomas indicted for some of the things she's done, and she's going to have to pay the piper. I do see her sentenced to a jail term. It might be what do you call it? House arrest, but I do see it nonetheless. What about you, Arthur? What do you think? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm not frozen. My head is. I'm a bobblehead. No, I just feel that Jenny Thomas has always been trying to fly under the radar while being right and loud in front of everybody, and thinks she's getting away with it. I've always said she's going to be one of the unnamed co-conspirators. It's all going to come out. She's going to get in trouble, and if she's not one of the co-conspirators, there's going to be another indictment against her for something else.
Okay.
Money laundering, whatever, all that kind of stuff.
You all heard it here first. Okay, Tim W. says, what about Hakeem Jeffries? Do you see him getting off the fence and endorsing Joe Biden? He will endorse Joe Biden.
He basically has. It's just like they don't publish any of that stuff. He said he had a meeting with Biden and he believes everything Biden has to say.
Well, he's going to come forward and say he endorses Biden. So
I'm waiting for Taylor Swift to come forward.
Oh, she will.
Yeah.
She will. And the chicks. Anyway. Okay.
Lady Gaga did.
Thank you, Cecilia. Hey, if you don't see a person say something, don't take secondhand info. I agree with that. Hallelujah.
What does that mean?
In other words, if somebody tells you that so-and-so said something, get it firsthand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Unless you have to use a Ouija board to talk to them.
Mimi says, isn't Thomas in the hospital with a lung infection? The answer is yes, he is. Yes. But I think it's something more serious than a lung infection. I do. Okay, was it a bullet or was it shrapnel or glass shreds that also hit the policeman near 45? Just 45 went out high that it wasn't a bullet. 45 insisted on no one commenting. It was a piece of shrapnel, I feel, that hit the police officer, whether it's glass or metal. And Trump doesn't want anybody to say anything because he can go around saying, I was shot. He
was out golfing, and then he shows up without anything on his ear. Then he shows up with an earmuff the other day.
I know.
Please.
You know what? If it had been a bullet that had hit his ear, he wouldn't have an ear. The side of his head would have probably been gone. Yeah. That's too lyric. But so anyway, I feel it was shrapnel. And
Yeah, I don't feel, and the fact that they're not saying means that it was not a bullet.
well, I think they're not saying it because they're withholding key facts on this case until they've investigated the shooter and all of that stuff. Once they finish their investigation, it'll come out that in fact it was a piece of shrapnel, not a bullet. And there's going to be people come forward that'll leak that information. So
I did see a fun thing on Twitter, and it was real, about when the Secret Service had Trump and he was yelling for his shoes. Apparently, his shoes fell off, and the lifts came out.
and the what?
His lifts.
Oh.
You could see you see the shoe, and then you see these things falling out, and there were lifts.
Well, that's because he was yelling for his shoes. He didn't want anybody to know his lifts. And
you know, when I keep on thinking about this whole thing, you know, music always is in my head. All I keep hearing the song when I look at the Trump and the whole thing is that's entertainment. That's all it is. Showbiz.
Daniel B says, "Hello, Mel and Arthur." Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
Love watching your shows. Thank you. We're glad you're supporting us. When do you see the war ending between Ukraine and Russia? You know, it's funny, when the war first started, people were saying, "Oh, it's going to be over in 3 months." It's going, and my guides tell me it's going to go on for a very long time. Putin has got himself into another Afghanistan because the Soviet Union was in Afghanistan for many years.
Yeah.
Left because they couldn't win. And so did the United States in Afghanistan. It's kind of like a Vietnam, you know, for Russia. So it's the Ukrainians will not stop fighting, and Putin is trying to fight a conventional war. But what he doesn't know, or he needs to know, is that the Ukrainians are fighting guerrilla style warfare, and this is going to go on for a very long time, in my opinion, until Putin or somebody who replaces him just says this. Right. What are we doing?
Well, I've been predicting 20 months, 18 months, 20 months that Ukraine becomes part of NATO. So working backwards, for that to happen, the war has to end.
They will become part of NATO. And when Putin says, "Oh, if that happens, he's open to use the nuclear weapons,"
it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. That's right.
He'll fall out of the first floor window.
Yeah, right. NLW question: will media ever realize that backing Trump is in their worst interest? No, because the owners of those stations, or those supposed news outlets, or the VPs, or the CEOs, they walk away with more money than God, and they know that it's putting money in their pocket, and they want this
clickbait.
They want to keep this controversy going because it does what? It gets people to watch.
And also they get to raise the rates on their advertising.
Correct. So I don't think they care. I think it's all about dollars for them.
They've got enough money. They don't care what's happened to the rest of the world. They can live behind their gated communities.
Now, you know, I mean, it looks to me there's a certain so-called news outlet that's really op-ed. It's not news, that is already a propaganda arm for Trump. So I don't think Trump had to dismantle that certain so-called news channel, because they found out that by supporting him, it puts a lot of money in their pocket.
And also, one of those people are connected to an Australian news organization that, when they were doing stuff about the attempted assassination, they made Biden look like it was all his fault.
I know.
It was hideous.
But that's going to come out differently, and we all know that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and
just because people say something doesn't mean it's true. And
it's an excellent question or comment, because what that propaganda arm for Trump does is spread misinformation.
Yeah.
And they do it to try to make the opponent look bad. It's not going to work. It will not work. So I see at some point in this country, the news people reporting news, and let op-ed report op-ed.
Yeah, we need more Walter Cronkites. You know?
Well, what's going to happen is there's going to be so many lawsuits against certain news channels, so-called news channels, for lying that they're going to have to end up paying out mega bucks, a lot of mega bucks, and that ultimately will be what stops it.
Yes, I agree.
Dragon. Oh, it's an old-fashioned telephone there. I like it. What do you think of the never-ending media and online media whining about Joe Biden's age? Drives me nuts. Could be spending that time on Project 2025. Well, Trump is only 3 or 4 years younger than Biden. Okay. But think about this. During the last election, it was the same BS that Biden has dementia, that Biden is sick, that Biden is too old, blah, blah, blah. What they need to do is start saying, excuse me, Biden forgot more than Trump ever knew. And that, at least he wasn't convicted of 34 felony counts.
Right. Well, I liked when Biden ended his interview with Lester Holt and said, call me when you want to talk about the real issues.
Oh, good. I didn't know he said that.
Yeah.
Ooh. So he put it where the sun doesn't shine.
He gave it back to him. And then now you read it, oh, he was feisty. He was getting pissed off because he kept on asking the same, well, if you were not to run again, he said, I'm running.
I would have said, I've already answered that question. Can we move forward and get to
he tried doing that, and he kept on bringing it up in a different way. So I loved it at the end when he said, when you want to talk about the real issues, give me a call.
He said what?
He's basically, give me a call when you want to talk about the real issues.
Trump, that debate, I just saw snippets of it. I think they purposely made Biden's microphone, they put it down low.
Well, look, I worked in television. I can tell you right now, the lighting was off. They made him look really harsh. The lighting around Trump was that hazy glow. It had nothing to do with, the orange tan.
I think they turned the microphone volume down. I think they played with the lighting. And, Biden stumbled a little bit, but at least he answered the question. Trump didn't even lie. Trump was too busy going off on these wild friggin' tangents all over the place. Trump didn't even answer the questions.
And what got me was when he was denying he ever said what he said about soldiers, about being losers.
Right.
It was Jake Tapper that broke that story for CNN.
Right.
And he's one of the moderators and keeping his mouth shut the whole time.
Well, he should have opened it up.
Well, there you go.
Anyway. Okay, Aiden, do you have anything? There we go. Cindy Lou, question. Hasn't Biden talked about reenacting the news fairness law or whatever it is called no fake news? Well, I don't know about fake news, but I think it was called the fairness doctrine. And I think that just pertained to advertising. So if there was a Republican candidate, that bought up airtime, then you had to give the Democratic candidate the same amount of airtime. I see the fairness doctrine being reinstated. What do you think?
I agree. And I also is it in France where they cannot have political ads right before the elections?
3 days.
3 days, yeah.
I don't think that'll ever happen here, but I do see
it's a nice idea.
But I do see the fairness doctrine reenacted. I think Reagan stopped it, but I reenacted again. So
Reagan stopped a lot of things.
Adriana says, Arthur is funny. I do get his humor completely.
It's an acquired taste, like Limburger cheese.
I paid her to say that.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'll pay you later.
I like Limburger cheese. Oh, no, it's okay. Once you get it past your nose.
Like I said, it's acquired taste.
Okay. So to contact Arthur, call him at 310-494-5955 or email him at arthureaseyourmind.com.
I always love it when I answer the phone and people say, oh my God, it's really you. It's like, I can hang up and you can talk to the answering machine if you'd like.
People do that with me. Am I talking to Mel? No, you're talking to the neighbor. Mel's on vacation. To contact Mel, 847-590-5411 or email me, www.meldoerr.com. I've got some good news. We've only got 8 openings left for our Chicago event. So if you are interested in going, please call my office at 847-590-5411. It might take us a few days to get back to you, but we will get back to you. I think Joan returned like 15 calls today.
Wow.
So there you go. Aiden, do we have I think we have time for maybe, let's do one more question, shall we?
Drum roll.
Do we have it, Aiden? There we go. Jackie Frazier says, will the Republican CEOs of CNN, MSNBC, etc., be replaced after Biden wins since the ratings have been so horrible? Well, I think with MSNBC, when they had Rachel Maddow, the ratings were excellent. And so I see somebody coming along at MSNBC who is going to be really phenomenal and will be able to keep the ratings up. I don't know how Fox's ratings are, but anyway. And I see CNN changing a lot too. So I do see CEOs at those two companies changing. And also at Fox, I see the CEO at Fox News changing as well. What do you think, Arthur?
I see a couple of lawsuits that are coming down for faux news, and that's going to change some things around there too. MSNBC, their numbers have plummeted since the debate, since the way they were carrying on it. Oh, he should resign and all that kind of crap.
Okay, we got time for one more, Aiden. Mimi, do you see the rest of the? I can't wait. My allergies are acting.
RNC, go.
Do you see the rest of the R? How do you see the rest of the RNC going? Maybe you've already talked about that. I got late here. Well, I think it's going to be kind of disjointed, and I don't see any major eruptions of violence, but I see a few. What do you think, Arthur?
It's a 3-ring circus. All they need was the elephants and somebody with sawdust to follow them.
I like elephants.
No, I'm just saying the elephants will leave what they leave, and that's it.
So let's take this a step further. And Arthur, since I live in Chicago, it's hard for me to be objective. Well, I don't live in Chicago. I live in the suburbs. But what do you think for the Democratic convention here in Chicago?
I feel there'll be some protests from wackos. I also feel that there'll be some fake protests that Biden needs to step down. There will be fake people doing that. All in all, I feel it's going to run smoothly.
Well, I had said they'd bring in some agitators, so there you go. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be like the Democratic convention here in 1968 with the riots and things.
No, I don't see any riots like that.
I don't see that. I have a lot of friends that work for the Chicago Police Department. I read for a lot of police officers. I've worked on a lot of cases with them. And even if they're wearing blues, or even if they have desk jobs, the city is putting them out on the streets and they're just going to be wearing street clothes and stuff like that. So security is going to be tight.
Yeah.
Very tight. So, all right. Next week, I will be.
I'll host.
We'll flip. Next week, you host.
It's my turn to host potluck.
You do a good job.
I try. I just let you talk. I just be a bobblehead.
To try means to lie. You do a good job.
Thank you.
All right. I love doing this, by the way.
I do too.
All right.
Thank you.
So I've got to run because right after this, we're doing Aloha Oracle for my members. So
that's a lot easier to say than morning whatever with Mel.
Morning. I did that this morning too. Morning moments with Mel. I'm doing this and now Aloha Oracle.
And I've got to finish editing my solo show.
There you go. All right, my friend. I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Have fun, everybody. Thank you for stopping by.
All right.